It's the country's #1 RVing radio show, sponsored by RVTravel.com, with your host, Alan Warren, the RV Wingman.
And Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy Hanukkah. Alan Warren here, the RV Wingman, in the holiday spirit for sure. Broadcasting today from San Antonio, Texas. We've got a lot of things to give away in segment 3 to folks that are watching our live stream on both YouTube and Facebook and on our station affiliates. And we have a great after-the-show kind of an experiment, if you will, as we prepare for our new season to begin in January. Some changes we're looking at making. So this is the most listened to, the most talked about radio and social media show in the country when it comes to RVing and the RV lifestyle, because we are the only ones who talk about the good, the not so good, and sometimes the occasional downright ugly parts of RVing. We got a lot of stuff to talk about today, but we're going to get her started first with another Wingman Monologue. I want to visit with you for a few minutes about the R word. Now, I know this may not sit well with everybody, but I just think that it needs to be said, the R word. It can really anger some people. You know what I'm talking about, the R word? Responsibility. That's right, responsibility as an RV owner. Who listening to this show right now thinks that they are a responsible person? Does anybody think that they are an irresponsible person? I don't think so. If you look up the word responsibility in the dictionary, it says the state or fact of being responsible, answerable, or accountable for something within one's power, control, or management. Sounds self-explanatory, right? Well, the funny thing is that while everybody claims that they're a responsible person, I wonder how many actually are and how many just think they are. From time to time, when we're little kids, I guess, we learn to not be responsible, to blame other people. What happens when a child doesn't do his or her homework? They blame someone or something else, right? What happens when they get a bad grade? Most of them blame the teacher. They say, everybody got a bad grade. What happens when you ask your kids or your grandkids, who left the door open? Nobody fesses up. Why is that? Why is it that when something goes wrong, it's almost human nature to instantly deny any responsibility and start blaming others? I got a twin brother, and growing up, we were always fighting. I mean, always. Mom and Dad would say, stop it! In stereo. At the same time, we'd go, he started it! You know, it sounds kind of funny, but it's true, and it's not just kids that play the game of not accepting responsibility. Adults seem to shirk responsibility, too, whenever it works to their benefit. Companies do it, too. And I see it in the RV community, among RVers, among RV dealers, and among even some manufacturers. What happens when you get caught? You get caught for doing something wrong, for making a mistake, for doing something that's not very smart. If you're normal, you try and hide it. You try to make it disappear. You try to distance yourself from it as quickly as possible. Hang with me, folks. I'm going somewhere with this. I've said this before. I call it the 5 Ds. And I see things that when people are caught red-handed, when the burden of responsibility falls squarely on their shoulders, at least the majority of the people, most people are fairly predictable. They follow what I call the 5 Ds. The first D, they deny. They flatly deny whatever it is. They say, I didn't do it. Not my fault. Don't blame me. And if denial doesn't seem to work, there's a second D. They defer, or rather they delay the whole who's responsible process in hopes that it just goes away. If that doesn't work, what's next? They deflect. They redirect the blame to somebody else. If that doesn't work, hang with me, folks. It's the 4th D. They demand proof. Prove to me that I was responsible. And finally, if that doesn't work, what's the last D? Destroy. They try to destroy somebody. Happens all the time. Does it sound like I'm being negative? Or is it just a thread of truth to what I'm saying? To me, it's almost like second nature to all of us. Deny, defer, deflect, demand, destroy. I've learned in my life that playing the blame game and using the 5 Ds has never really worked out, not in the long run. So what do the 5 Ds have to do with RVing? Well, I think plenty. Why the talk of responsibility? Well, here's where the wingman may anger some people, and that is not my intent. Quick story, several years after I started my TV fishing show, I was involved in a really bad business arrangement. It was awful. At the moment, it was about as bad as anything I'd ever been through in my life. I had been swindled. I believed in the wrong person. That got me tangled in a legal situation that nearly broke me. Had to start all over. I had tons of experience, but no money, nothing. I was broke. But I did have a friend, a very wealthy friend, an elderly man who I knew would help me. He owned a dozen TV stations, more than a dozen radio stations, and I knew that he'd be the investor that I had to have to help me rebuild, to survive. Thank God. Long story short, we had our meeting. My future investor said, Alan, I'm going to help you. I'm thinking, oh, thank you, Lord. I'm going to run your show on all my TV stations. I'll introduce you to everybody I know because I believe in you. I believe you can do anything. I'll help you in any way I can, but I'm not going to loan you a dime. Not one. I was devastated. Didn't have a TV show anymore. Didn't have any money. I did have several years of real-life experience with TV stations and sponsor relationships that I'd formed, but I was broke. The investor I was hoping for said no. But you know what? The old man said something that I would never forget. It was the most sobering yet most motivating thing that had ever happened to me at that point. He said, Alan, take it from an old man who's made a lot of money and lost a lot of money. Anytime I have ever made money in a partnership, it was never because of me. Anytime we ever lost money, I always got the blame. He said, the person who brushes your teeth is the one you can blame for your failure or give the credit to for your success. It's up to you, Alan, just you. That was not what I wanted to hear, not at all. But his words proved true. At least for me, they did. When I realized that I was solely responsible, me, for my success, my happiness, my decisions, things began to work out for me. It wasn't easy. Hell, it's still not easy. But you know what? Accepting responsibility for every single thing that I can has turned out to be the best thing I've ever done. I know that a lot of people say that's weird, but I disagree. It may be unusual. It ain't weird. And here's why. Here's why I'm bringing up the topic of responsibility. I believe that if each one of us, you, me, all of us, if we started understanding and accepting our responsibilities, things would not only get better, but we'd be on a better trajectory in our lives. There's no doubt that there are some real crappy RVs being made. There are. If you're looking at buying an entry-level anything, an RV, a car, a boat, a motorcycle, a home, an entry-level anything, it's not built with the same care, the same quality, the same precision, the same price tag of better things in that category. How can you expect an entry-level boat or vehicle to compare with a luxury model? How can you expect a manufactured home, for example, to compare with your sticks and bricks home? You can't. If you buy an entry-level RV and you think that it should live up to the quality of a high-end RV, you're gonna be in for a shock. It's an entry-level RV, for crying out loud. If you get snookered into thinking you're buying a top-of-the-line RV when it's an entry-level, who is responsible for that? Seriously, who? The information's out there, folks. It's available. If you don't maintain your RV the way the manufacturer recommends, or if you use your RV in the way the manufacturer doesn't recommend, and you have a problem, who is responsible? That's right, the person that brushes your teeth. However, as an RV owner, if you are responsible, if you do your homework, if you do your regular maintenance, you can honestly say that you did every single thing possible to maintain your RV as you were required to do, and your RV has serious manufacturer defects, or your dealer has honestly lied to you and swindled you. That, my friends, is on them and not on you. I've heard that many RV manufacturers would rather pay lawyers to defend them from consumer claims than deal with each issue. And in a sense, I kind of understand. I don't blame the manufacturers. Why? Well, the truth is, at least according to me, a large percentage of people that claim that they bought a lemon RV, well, the truth is they're actually at least partly responsible for the predicament they're in. Maybe not all the way responsible, but part of the way. Did they do every single thing the manufacturer recommended? Did they? Did they take care of and maintain the RV as they were supposed to? Did they even read the manufacturer's warranty? Or did they just take a salesman's word for it? And it turned out not to be true. What I'm saying here is that until we are honest, and I mean really honest, really responsible, we will not likely find any common ground between the RV industry and you and me, the consumer, who buys their products. I've been accused lately by some as being the RV spokesman instead of the RV wingman. I assure you, if you have acted responsibly, you have done every single thing you are supposed to do, and you are getting the shaft from a dealer or manufacturer, I would like to try and help. But it needs to be abundantly clear, folks, abundantly clear, that you have done everything right. You do that, and if I can help, I promise you I will try. However, if you adopt any of the 5 Ds that I mentioned a bit ago, if you try and blame everything on somebody else, don't be surprised if you don't get the support that you're hoping for. Responsibility. It's a wonderful thing. It is, when you truly, truly embrace it. When you don't, life, at least to me, kind of seems a whole lot harder. I'd love to hear your thoughts on responsibilities as an RV owner. Leave us a voicemail if you would. We may play your call, your comments on the air. The number, as always, 24/7 is 1330-WINGMAN. That's 1330-WINGMAN.